Peace, peace. This is Star with the Star Blooms. And let's get to it. I'm here to talk about self abandonment, um, charged abandonment. And the reason why I'm talking about it is for a lot of reasons. There has been like a lot going on with a lot of us. And I really want to like focus today because a lot of times you really never know who's watching and who's basically receiving the information. So I just want to give like trying to work on saying things like give precursor to why I share the information I share. I have a really, really, really soft spot for my inner child. I've learned 101. I love that. I've learned over the years, growing, glowing through my circumstances, finding new ways of being with myself, learning how to love myself, parenting myself, being comfortable, being in that stand up rate where I get to choose and have free will with myself, that the inner child getting and gaining knowledge about the inner child and how much it's not communicated on a regular basis is very, very, how it's been very like detrimental to my growth, to my processes. Like the numbers are crazy. And basically how I move through things. And because I really couldn't see, this information available readily to, I would say, people like myself, people who I related to, is something that I decided that I wanted to share. And I wanted to say that, you know, because I wanted to give like a level of interpretation of why I feel the need to share it and where I'm sharing from. I'm not sharing from a wealth of just like reading a whole bunch of stuff. This is really, really learned information. This is experienced, this is grown through and gone through. I'm basically sharing what I've been able to heal through and still healing through. Because if you know anything about the healing processes, whether it be medical, on any rate of healing, there's different layers and levels to healing. And once we get to certain rates, we may have felt like we reached certain thresholds. And I believe that at that point, we just need to be able to have the opportunity to tap into a higher perspective, to shift our perspective, to be able to receive at a different rate ourselves than what we may have been previously operating in. That's what I wanted to do. Okay, so today I'm going to give like a shift of perspective. All right. You may hear my baby in the background, but I want to stay focused and I want to give the information. So just be with me and walk through with me. This information that I'm about to share is very personal to me. It's something that isn't easy for me to talk about. And the reason why it's not easy for me to talk about is because I haven't talked about it. It's just that I haven't talked about it. And when you don't have like a safe space, I wouldn't always say safe, okay? But it needs to be safe. And we need to be comfortable in requiring spaces to be safe and having those boundaries set up because we get to be protected in how we share and how we are able to basically release things. Okay. So I just wanted to say that to myself and to whoever needs to hear it. But I haven't really spoken about these things. A lot of times when I was going through processes of healing certain race, particularly today, I'm going to be talking about the mother wound. I really didn't have the opportunity to sit with my mom, to have these conversations, to be able to have um, the free will to be able to actually sit in a space where the energy wasn't so charged, to where it's been able to be receptive and kind of like fed back into each other to where we're both able to heal. I kind of at a certain rate gave what I could give. And then I decided that, I absolved, all debt. And I didn't really care to like go through the processes of forcing it anymore. And everybody will go through their own processes. So no way I'm encouraging or stating that this is how it happens. I'm just saying that's how it happened for me. Um, One of the biggest things that I've recognized over the last couple of weeks is that there's been like a lot of chaos being thrown at me because I'm aware of things that people don't want me to be aware of, because I'm alive and people don't want me to be at a rate where I'm alive. I basically made other people aware that I knew that what their attempts was on me, and I'm not willing to sit in a space where I'm just going to take something and take it laying down, and that makes people very upset. But that's why this conversation is important, because a lot of times we may take on things as a personal attack because they are. And in this physical world, I want to say this, a lot of times we have the opportunity to be right in our reaction, in our response to things, but that may not get us the outcome that we desire. And the reason is because good behavior breeds cooperation. So what am I saying? If you go into the courthouse and you decide that the courthouse has done something against you, you're going into the courthouse and you're upset, angry, pissed off, you're wanting to lose it and operate in a space where you're telling these people off. And you may be right. They may have done you wrong. They may have not been in the space where, they were operating legally, right? And they are aware of that. But your behavior and how you move and how you respond and how you react to things is always going to get you what your reaction and your response is. It sometimes doesn't even matter what the other party did if people don't have the ability to actually hear and perceive you. So your ability to say self-sustain within you, your ability to be coherent, your ability to be integral, emotionally intelligent, and at peace, while maybe raging, while maybe in a space where you might deem it as chaotic, is grace, it's mercy. And it's a rate of glory that you get to sit in with yourself on a consistent basis. So if you choose, all right. And that's important. Um, a lot of times with certain circumstances, the mother womb shows up differently for different people. For me, I experienced a charged abandonment. Okay. So, abandonment, I wrote these things down because it's important that I give some context to what I'm saying. I might just read this really quickly. Abandonment. All right. Abandonment is to give up, deserting, forsaking, to condition, um, the condition of being forsaken, relinquishing of a title, privilege, or claim. And then there's also a French version of it that's like attached to an instrument, which is to make the time subordinate to the feeling. Um, and then there's also how to retrieve the self in a space. I'm just going to read how I wrote it. How to retrieve the self in a space where you were conditioned. And then it says self abandonment, disregard of the self, and self interest are seeing self. And self is basically oneself. Abandon is to give up and disregard. And this really all has to do with you relinquishing your free will. The will is your wish, it's your desire, it's your ability to fully and truly tap into what you be about. All right. And I wanted to say all of this to say this, okay? A lot of times when you've had to live through certain rates of abandonment, and it may not necessarily be visible on the surface as to this is what's happening. That's why I called it charged abandonment. That's the words or the verbiage that I channeled when I was in meditation. They kept on saying, you've had this charged abandonment. And the way that I seen it was basically my grandmother basically showing me how there's this rate of envy, there's this rate of jealousy that my mom, our said energy, has been operating in due to a desire to relinquish me of a title and stake claim on something that innately and birthright belongs to me. And the reason why is because she would rather be at a rate where she operates in the energy that has been for me. And this has been something that has been going on for a long time. Um, it's not really important. And I have to say this because a lot of times people get real caught up in in they self. People get real caught up in ego They get caught up in their pride and they want to start pointing the fingers. A lot of weak minded people, okay, about how adults need to learn how to take responsibility of self. This is what I'm speaking about, okay? Don't mistaken me speaking about where the conversation's coming from to me pointing blame. The realization is that acts and events occur, all right? We have to be comfortable at the space where we're able to say, this is the action. Excuse me, this is my jacket. I want to get it off. This is the action. This is the event that I'm addressing. And here's the resolution that I was able to come to. Okay. I don't want to sit in the space where I'm talking about what she did. Okay. I want to really, really be mindful of the realization of the conditioning and what that does to the body. A lot of times they say it all, say it all, say it all is what they're saying. Say it all. Don't worry about not saying it to erase or hurt other people's feelings. And it becomes difficult because of the conditioning. And you have this idea of wanting to respect this space that has been nothing but disrespectful to you, that has been nothing but harmful to you. And even in your desire to relay a message that you know that could help, there's this desire to petition to protect something that didn't protect you. That's the condition rape, you know? And in this energy that we found ourselves in coming from this new moon, I've had to sit in the waters, like literally sit in the water, submerged in the waters, and to be in this hollow space where I'm receiving the truth. And it can't be blanketed or I can't be blindfolded anymore in this. There's been a lot of circumstance ritualistically and energetically, mentally, emotionally for years where I've been blindfolded. And I've learned how to move through shit blindly because of that. And it became my superpower. But at this point, there's a rate where we have to be in full revealment of, and here's why. Spirit is calling us to actually regain our internal revenue. Now, you might hear internal revenue, you might think of the IRS. This is different, y'all. Internal, you're going to think of within. Revenue is basically you staking a claim to wealth that you have owed to you, no matter what or who has chosen you to be conditioned to disregard yourself. Okay? You have an internal wealth. And it's important that you not only know this, but you live in this space where you're capable and you're able of honoring yourself at a rate where you get to be and receive what is due to you. When we have ourselves stuck in a space where we've been conditioned to believe that we don't get to have the things that we desire. So what does it look like in a mother womb to be abandoned, but still have someone that's there? It's charged. The reason why it's charged is abandonment is to be just given up, right? Abandonment is to be forsaken, completely deserted, are just conditions of being forsaken. Now, a lot of things aren't always black and white, and this is why it becomes confusing. When you have circumstances where you've had what looks to be a privileged home, you've had a mother and a father in a home, yet you weren't able or capable of being able to be held at the same rate of siblings. You weren't taken care of at the same rate of siblings. There was no one operating with integrity, willing to acknowledge events that occurred and being able to actually deal with things and handle things at the rate where things were fair. All right. It makes it even worse when family members, communities get involved and they basically position themselves to be on the side of what seems to be right. There becomes a rate where your voice gets silenced. And what happens is self-abandonment. Now, with self-abandonment, this is the realization where you start to disregard and dislike the things that actually may be for your highest good. This is something that's done over time. It doesn't happen overnight. And because it's done over time, it's like any monster that you feed, it becomes strong. It's a muscle that's hard to weaken, even if it's something that you completely disassociate with. It's something that may be sitting under the surface, just waiting to be triggered. It's a root that you may pull up that may really, 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 really have some deep, deep roots. So even if the root that you're able to attach to breaks off, there's still some things that you might need to dig up and go deeper to see if they grew and attached to other things. That's the realization, especially when it comes to something like a mother wound, are those energies that have taken on those titles that they relinquish themselves. That's the reality of it. You have a desire to be something that you may have not necessarily received, especially as a woman, and you having a mother wound, to be something that you may have not necessarily received without actually going against the thing that you receive in order to be at a rate to where you're not bitter. A lot of us as grown adults have desired to be something that we may have not gotten that we wanted to get, yet the reach and the direction in going towards this thing sometimes becomes a battle because you're in this conditioning rate to where you're telling yourself that you're not doing wrong by wanting and receiving more. Yet you've been conditioned to believe that what you received, how you were being treated, how you were being handled, what was going on when all of this stuff occurred was exactly what you needed. Why is that? Because of the internal revenue. If internally you've chosen to tell yourself that it's more important to not focus on your desires because they usually don't work out the way that you want them to work out. If internally there's been this conditioning that's been placed on you to basically accept little to nothing because you're used to being left out. If internally you've realized yourself to become somebody who would place other people before you because you had this desire to fit in and be accepted by the things that couldn't accept you because they had decided to abandon you, all right? You don't have a rate to where you get to actually be at the space where you're operating in your free will. There's a part of you that's always stagnant, moving backwards to move forwards, hesitant, head down, not really fully strong in what it is that you're doing and choosing. You might have this rate where you're trying to convince yourself of a thing that doesn't exist because you have to believe the things that you already perceive because life has taught you that this is how things go. But in a lot of cases, especially when you've been in positions where you haven't been cared for properly, where you haven't been treated fairly, there are circumstances where you just haven't been in the space that actually was meant to honor you. You just haven't met the people who were actually meant to love you. And your inability, 10, good God, your inability to open up to that space, your inability to be accepting and to be gentle in the spaces that were actually coming in to hold you will keep you at a rate where you're actually honing in on that self-abandonment, and you will never be able to recognize or even bring into fruition what it is internally that you deem and know to be true as your wealth. And a lot of the time it's going to be a spiritual wealth first before you receive the physical wealth because it manifests spiritually first. All right, I wanted to share this because a lot of times, especially for people who had many years where wealth has been embedded in bones that we can't seem to cherish, all right? This rate requires you to change so you could be able to clearly see what's forecasted for you. Okay? A lot of times we can't see what's coming. We don't know why we haven't been able to call in or manifest the things that we're desiring. We're not sure why we haven't been able to fully gain receipt to what it is that would make our life be what it needs to be, because we may still be caught up in a cycle where we're constantly cycling through and conditioning through things that we need to relinquish. It's not for you to be combating or fighting physically things that people are doing, may it be spiritually or physically. It's for you to be apart from the things that you no longer are in alignment with, so you could be able to actually adjust to the true wealth that actually exists within you. Why? Because you're building a new muscle. You're building a new muscle. Sometimes when you're dealing with the inner child, it's not so much so as to cushion yourself or pacify yourself, not wanting to grow up because you're a Toys R Us kid or anything like that. But it's actually honoring yourself at a rate to where you're saying, I have these dreams and I have these desires. I get to have these dreams. I get to have these desires. I have this place that I want to be. I get to have this place that I'm going to be and I will be. It's this realization that you start to actually recondition the things that may have decided that you washed out and washed up. No matter. No matter. No matter what. I promise y'all. I promise y'all, I will be a testament to what I am saying to you. A lot of times we don't recognize just how much is like sitting knocking on your door internally. Because a lot of us have received a call. Your spirit has let out a loud thud within the last week or so, y'all. It's like boom. So, and when you're dealing with soul, right? You can't be in a space where you're situating yourself based off of lies and illusions. My mom not loving me, my family as a whole not caring for me the way that I needed to be cared for. But specifically right now, I've been having to deal with the mother wound. All right. Not caring for me due to the fact that I may have had spiritual gifts that she felt like she was supposed to have has nothing to do with me. That betrayal is not mine to carry. Betrayal, period, y'all, has nothing to do with you personally. Don't take it personal. Your body, however, it keeps the count. It keeps score. It keeps tabs, right? And if you don't want to become bitter because you recognize that being bitter creates a space within you emotionally that may affect your waters from flowing with ease the way that you desire them to flow so you could be in flow, you have to create a rate where you actually recondition something that may have already been conditioned in you. And this is where we get to take on responsibility of ourselves. If I'm in a space where I self-abandon, yes, that's a choice internally, but you have to understand if you're wanting to point rates, I don't know why I'm speaking to these people, but it's I'm gonna address you, okay? Because I keep on hearing people say, deal with yourself. You know, this is about you. This is about you. This is about how you feel about yourself. This is no. Every root, every branch, it's all connected. It's all connected. You don't just go from the root to the branches. There's a base. You got to get through some tough stuff for you to be able to see it. And this may not matter to everybody, but for the people who healing, I want y'all to know right now, one, recognize your internal revenue is something that is already there within you. You have to stake a claim to it, whatever that means and however that looks to you. You have to be willing to stake a claim to you for you. Why? Because it is attached to your free will. If you haven't been able to complete tasks, if you haven't been able to do what you need to do, go ahead, sit down, babe. If you haven't been able to focus on what it is that you're focusing on, if you haven't been able to bring into fruition what it is that you're working on, if you find yourself procrastinating or putting off things that you know will change your circumstances, if you find a desire to do something, but yet the desire is zapped before you could even allow it to register, if you received the seed from spirit, but you can't get into a rate where this seed actually gets watered and nurtured, you have something there, and let's go deeper than the surface. This is what I'm talking to y'all about today. Don't allow people to convince you of something that is no longer true for you. If you're going to follow along with it, I promise you there will be a group of people who will come up to show you how to be fooled to your circumstance and not take a leap of faith. You will be in the upside down position. We are meant to be upright at this point. We're meant to be in abundance at this point. Whatever that looks like. Whatever that looks like for you, right? It's going to be different for everybody. You get to be at a rate where you get to receive. Start by dealing with self. And when dealing with self, be comfortable addressing the spaces that you may have not ever wanted to address. Be comfortable with looking at the spaces that you may have not really wanted to see. And know that it's safe with you first. That's the reality. When it's safe with you, you can actually trust you walking into spaces and rooms with other people, getting to know people, and being able to actually gauge and judge whether or not this is a space where you could either be cocooned or where you get to blossom. There's a rate that you have with you and how you care for you. And you might be the best space for a lot of other people to be cared for because you had to care for yourself so properly just for you to be able to recondition yourself at a rate to where you get to still love you. And don't be mistaken in the spaces where you may react off of circumstance based off of your desire to respond. It is okay. But know that your grace that you give to you is the merchant that you get to go internally to receive and seek out. The Spirit is wanting us to know that this chaos that you may be labeling is chaos right now. This chaos that you may be wanting to feel like is being thrown at you might be your first time recognizing and experiencing magic. Oop. Oh my God. You might have not known, right? But this might be the magic that you needed. You just don't know it yet. Be at a rate where you are healing forward, where you're moving forward, where you don't quit no matter what, where no matter how bad things look, no matter how much so-called time, the lie, no matter how much time you feel is taking, recognize that all of the parts that are showing up are pieces to a puzzle that's meant to be placed out and laid out before you. Recognize that, take ownership of that, live in that space, move in that space. You're going to find what it is that you need no matter where you find yourself to be at. But be at this rate where you get to choose now to not abandon the self and relinquish the title, the internal wealth that you have that's being granted to you right now, no matter who's decided that you got conditioned out of actually staking claim on what's yours. No matter who is. Your ability to face the untold truth, your ability to open up and take the blinders off and see the illusion for what it is, loose, and actually sit and situate yourself in the flow and the steady movement and egress towards a true foundation that was meant and already has been placed. Source will go ahead of you. I want y'all to hear me. If you don't know where you're meant to go, be comfortable enough investigating, not like ruminating. All right. Ruminating is that space that Virgos find themselves in. It's that overthinking. It's that air energy. It's like that overthinking, even though Virgo is an earth sign. It has this analytical process where it sits in something and it just goes over it, over and over and over and over and over and over. All right. Trying to organize, trying to categorize everything, trying to just dot the I's. That's important. Details matter so much, right? However, if you have internal revenue, I know what's mine, right? Doesn't matter how many options I get on the table, because Spirit is letting us know at this time, you're going to get posed with a lot of options, all right? Now, if you don't know who you, 28, whoo, if you don't know, y'all excuse me, but it's like Spirit speaks to me and I like it, okay? If you don't know what's actually meant for you, you could be bamboozled. You could walk into a space where it was too good to be true and you could end up hitting the tower. You could end up having your whole foundation trampled over because you walked in some stuff that you thought that you may have wanted, but you never checked in to see if this was what was aligned with you. Being able to heal from a charged abandonment issues, period, dealing with the mother wound or the father wound, is important for you to be able to recognize what you are here for, how you are here to be, and what it is that you truly desire within. Because sometimes it may not necessarily be attached to the bigger picture, but it's part of it, and you get to have it. But are you coming from a heart space with it? Or are you doing what everybody else does? A lot of us do what everybody else do. We see somebody that we think look nice, so we think, oh, this would be nice for me, but it ain't for you. So you want to attach yourself to something that ain't for you, and you end up being harmed, taking on somebody's karmic debt, and you don't even know why your life is a mess. Then you attach yourself to ideas and how you want to be in certain positions, but this ain't really your job. You got to be at a rate where you get to be comfortable within yourself enough to know you well enough to be you, to show up as you, unapologetically in the position that has been set out for you. Spirit will go ahead of you. You've been praying for something. They heard you the first time, friend. You ain't have to pray for it more than once. They weren't not listening to you because you didn't get it immediately. It wasn't a circumstance to where you didn't receive what it is that you were wanting to receive. Stop, mama. Go sit down. Where you were wanting to receive and allowed it to be something where you don't get to have something because of whatever you feel like you done. No, they heard you the first time. It wasn't in alignment when you was asking for it originally. Have you went within to actually see what's in alignment at this point? 10:23, good God. 1, 2, 3. Come on, Spirit. Have you went in to actually see what's in alignment with you at this point? Some of those things that you may have asked for years ago may actually be coming into fruition at this point. But have you allowed yourself to be at the rate within your vessel where you are open and safe enough to actually say, I've been conditioned to think that I do not get to have, but I will have what I've asked for, and I'm ready for it, Spirit. That's what Big Mama wanting us to do. In the midst of this chaos that you may be thinking that you're being surrounded by, know that you've been cocooned. Know that you're safe. It's not a conversation. You don't need no reader to tell you. You don't need nobody, no spiritualist. You don't need anybody to tell you that you're safe. It's a decision that's been made. Internally, I went in and I seen that I was protected. So I'm protected. I will be protected. So it is. So shall it be. I seen that everything that I've ever desired, wanted, or needed will be mine. So I shall have. So shall it be. So it is. It's a statement, right? And the more you build on that muscle, the more you actually pour into that space, the weaker the lie becomes. The more you health in a healthy way, sometimes healthy is the most abrupt and direct. Okay. It's sometimes it's cutthroat. Sometimes it might come off, like that Queen of Swords energy. It is what it is, but it's intelligent and it knows. Not a nasty, but a direct and standing on big business. Because it's family business. Your soul claim. Your soul claim in a space where there's so many people relinquishing their soul for physical shit. You stake and claim on your soul rights. Oh, it's a beautiful, beautiful, urgent response that we get to have at this rate. Be it within you to actually take accountability enough to move forward in the ways that support you in doing so. The things that you may have asked for, that you may have forgot that you asked for, may be here for you. Check into your vessel. Sit with yourself. Start to meditate more. Start to meditate visualizing and allowing yourself to see the things that you desire to come forth. Put yourself at a rate where you get to see that your heart is literally pouring out to you what it is that is coming from within. Be at that good God rate. That good God. Be at that good God rate where it's no longer required for acceptance of other people. Retrieve your internal validation and stake claim to what belongs to you at this time. Do so because somebody else is going to try to if you don't. Show up at the rate where you get to be seen and accounted for. If you don't, somebody's going to show up wanting to wear your skin. I promise you. Some of y'all so special. Some of y'all have such a unique key that's going to open and unlock doors that will pour into this space things that we haven't been able to see. This is the rate where we get to create. But in your God body, what is it that you actually bringing into fruition that you don't have to copy and paste off of somebody else? That you don't have to wear of somebody else's, that doesn't have to really fit in because it was meant. Go see that. All right? Be okay with whatever rate that you was given. I knew how I was being treated and how I was being handled. I was shown dreams and visions of the things that will occur back in 2022. And they're happening now. I've had to be at a rate where I trust source enough to know that everything that was already shown to me and told to me was because it will work out in my favor. It doesn't always feel good. But what did I say in that part where it says that the feeling sometimes it's something that they said. I want to write it down, like read it out again. It says to make the time to subordinate the feeling, all right? To take the time to move something away from how it feels versus when it was originally received. It takes like really, really big skill. It takes big skill. But anybody who's operating with integrity at this time, you get to know, you get to trust, you get to believe, you get to live in a space with yourself where you get to actually see my body is my body. And at this point, I operate in free will. This is for any system because family is a system, and it's one of the biggest systems that's under attack. And a lot of times we don't want to be at a rate where we're in representation of the thing that has been infiltrated, yet it's clear what's happened. You don't have to be the thing that is accepted by everybody. You get to accept you. Because if you're whole, if you're full, you will be able to complete what is new, what is just, what is necessary for you to be able to complete at this time. All right. I don't feel like I said everything that I wanted to say, but I feel like I said what I needed to say. I also wanted to say be mindful of the dream state. Right now, they don't want you to be able to sleep properly. They want you to be in a space where you're anxious. Sleep may be off. Don't judge yourself for sleeping differently. Yes, it may affect you working, whatever it is that you have going on, but allow yourself to be at a rate where you are being ritualistic about how you go to sleep and your awaking times. There's information that is being provided to you, that is being given to you, that you're capable of receiving at this point. It's okay, babe. No sorries. No sorries. Don't say sorry. That you are being able to receive at this time. And it's important that you retrieve this information so you could be able to gain keys and access to what is going on with you. Notice when you are deciphering and being able to interpret your dream state and what is occurring, that there's people watching. So your spirit team, your guides use tactics to be able to get the information to you. Don't do that. That's not for that. Thank you. To be able to get information to you, go sit down, baby. They're going to use what they can to get information to you. Be mindful enough to actually read into what it is that you're receiving. Don't take these spaces always face value, and recognize that the dream state is different from astral projection, and it's also different from lucid dreaming. It's different. All right. Recognize your gifts when you're in these spaces, because depending on what your gift is, it's also going to determine maybe how you receive and perceive a certain vision, a certain experience, a certain travel. All right. And know that in these spaces, it's a wealth and this abundance that has come to you that you get to have and you get to be whole and you get to receive in. It's so much I want to say, but it's so much I feel like it's just like, it's like, no, don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that. Because people want to know what you know, but it's not our ability to inform other people that we know what they're doing. It's more so our ability to guard ourselves up and be in a space where we get to be in utilization of the tools that we have. This is your big old tool right here. Your vest was your tool. And if you recognize the wealth and abundance that you are existing within, the space that holds something that means something to you, ooh, big business. All right. Big business. All right. And this ain't nothing but a big old business, regardless of how you look at it. Either you working for somebody else's business, you contribute in somebody else's business, or you operating and you have your own. You get to decide on what ratio and what parts you own, and never disregard your position that you play. Because, like I said, it's a key that you are meant to open, even if that's just being a placeholder to something bigger. You get to be able to be in a space where you recognize the wealth and abundance that sits in the rate that you are seated in. So be seated. And like I said, peace be still. May peace be with you everywhere you go, and send peace to those who try to come towards you. Not in a way that you think, but in a rate where you get to put yourself at a rate of being just, I don't really care to harbor or hold anything heavy on me. My heart gonna be light. My heart gonna be light. I don't have to take on responsibility. Don't take on responsibility for the actions and non-actions of other people. Don't make it something about you. It's always about the other person. Anytime you convince yourself that it's something that you did that caused somebody else to do something when you know that you didn't do nothing, you robbing yourself of an experience. You robbing yourself of the ability to truly get what the lesson was meant to teach you at that space. Don't do that. All right. People I'm speaking to, y'all ready, y'all willing, y'all capable, and y'all just need reminders. I wasn't thinking about self-abandonment like that. I never looked at, internal revenue as me actually having to stake a claim. When you gonna file your taxes at the end of the year, they gonna want to get their money back. It's some stuff spiritually that you meant to get back. It's some stuff physically that you meant to have at this point. Are you at the rate where you willing to actually go after what's yours? Okay, you get to have it. You get to have, and it's a big old stance. It's not just you. So you make the first step and watch how many steps is made either on your behalf or with you. You're not alone. You're not alone. No matter how it looks, what it looks like, you're not alone. Okay? So be bold. Be bold in staking this internal claim. Be bold in reconditioning yourself. Now, I may have not gotten the birthdays or the things that other people, but I get to celebrate me. I get to experience a healthy family life. I don't have to settle and think that being mistreated and hurted is the thing that my life is going to be wrapped around. I don't have to bend down or bow down to a circumstance and a rate to be accepted by other people. I accept me. It's a surety that you get to pour out over yourself. And it doesn't matter who comes to the parade. It doesn't matter who comes to the show. If you on a stage of one talking to one person, that one gonna become 10 soon. You just watch and see. Don't give up. Don't quit. It don't matter. I promise you it doesn't matter. Love yourself enough. Now I'm not using a whole lot of verbiage and stuff. Some of y'all got short attention spans. I'm keeping it sweet, okay? Be okay with wherever it is that you at. Honor yourself enough to love those who came into your life for you to experience what you were meant to experience from those people. Love yourself enough to where you're capable and willing to resubmit what was meant to be actually sustained within you, to be able to demolish, break down, and tear apart strongholds that were never actually supposed to be part of your fiber or your being, that are keeping you from the things that you truly desire, and operate fully in your will so you could be. I love y'all. Peace. Peace out. You said peace out. Peace out. Peace out.